Are we live yet?
Things are booting up. Welcome, everyone. We are officially live for our second Tarot Tuesday on YouTube. So, welcome everyone in. Hi, Scarlett. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you all doing? Thanks everyone who is joining us. This has been real fun trying these out on YouTube. So thanks everyone who's choosing to join us. We have a fun show for you guys today. We are going to be talking about how to host a tarot party.
Yeah, so
So
grab a drink. I
grab a
have some
drink.
rosé today.
Mhm.
Um, so feel free to grab your favorite beverage and join along with us as we discuss. I figured during the summertime, at least here, we like to get a little more social and things are starting to open up again. So, how do we integrate tarot into our social lives? And actually,
Mhm.
it could be fun to bring tarot themes into our parties or hangouts, and especially if you love tarot, you're a tarot reader, and you want to introduce it to your friends, or you have other friends that love tarot too. So if you guys have questions as we're going, please feel free to enter those in the chat. Say hi, say where you're coming from. We love to hear from you guys. So thanks so much for joining us. Hi
Yeah.
Jenna, hi Elva, hi Lila.
Hey guys. And, tarot, I think a lot of people just imagine when they think of tarot, just like one person sitting, across from another person and doing a very serious reading. But tarot, I think, can be this really fun thing too, making it something that works really well for a party environment as well, which is something you don't always initially think about tarot right off the bat. So as you said, Jamie, things are opening up a little bit. Maybe we're starting to see some of our friends again. So if you are, looking for an idea, something fun to try out, I definitely recommend doing some type of tarot party. I've done a few kind of things like this in the past where I've done readings at parties, and it's been a really fun and enjoyable experience. And it definitely helps you get to know the other party guests a little bit better as well. It's a good like icebreaker.
Quite a lot, I'm sure. I think that's kind of a scary thing for a lot of tarot readers, especially beginners, to imagine themselves doing tarot readings at a party. And I know for myself, I've done tarot readings in a more public setting and found myself pretty drained afterwards. So if you have any advice on or questions, if you guys have advice or questions, feel free to enter those in the chat as well. But how does somebody, keep the energy up and keep the party going? Because I think like after 8 tarot readings, I was really exhausted.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it can be very emotionally draining when you're just doing readings for like individual people one after another. So if you are going to be doing readings for some friends at a party, I recommend keeping it pretty simple. Probably, not doing a spread larger than 3 cards per person, maybe keeping them, 15 minutes around then. And making sure you're giving yourself some space in between readings too, so you can kind of reground yourself, have a conversation with other people in the party before you do another reading. That way you're not going to be as burned out. Because I've definitely experienced that before when I've just, done a ton of readings in a row and I just feel like I need a nap. So, so yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Taking a break or step away when you feel like a little bit worn out is a great way to recharge really quick. We have a quick message from Graves. In my experience in a public setting, they want a bit of a show and flourish, drawing energy from the crowd. Yeah, what do you think of that? I have trouble being an entertainer, so I might have a little struggle with that. How about you guys?
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, especially if you're doing a reading for someone and like everyone else is watching, so you really are on show there. And some readers are really good at this, and they even know like special, shuffling flourishes to make it look really like fun and fancy. But even if you don't know that, don't limit yourself. It can still be really fun. Of course, for me, I know it's a lot easier to feel less stressed when I've had like one drink. So
All
that's one of
right,
the
let's go.
benefits of doing reading at a party. But yeah, there is, of course, an element to it where people who are attending the party, they may have never seen a tarot reading before. They don't really know what tarot is. So you probably do feel a little bit of pressure to kind of put on a show for them and, read the cards maybe a bit more dramatically than you would normally. And that can be fun for some people, but of course, know your limits, know what style of reading you feel comfortable with. And, you don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
learning those fancy tricks with the shuffling that might boost your confidence if you have something to kind of do, and people will kind of get attracted to that. But yeah, I think that's a tough skill to master for myself. Other people, it comes very naturally. I think it's very interesting. um, we have another comment here. I think I would try to remember that most likely everyone at the party wouldn't know anything about tarot. So fake it till you make it. That's Jenna. Thank you, Jenna. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
I think they're just interested to know that, oh, you are a tarot reader. I've never gotten my tarot reader, maybe once. So that's usually the um, typical average response I get from people is that people haven't gotten many tarot readings, so it's totally new and exciting for them, anyways.
Yeah, and another fun thing about that, if you yourself are still kind of new to doing readings, or sometimes you forget what the meanings of the cards are, likely they won't know either. So, like Jenna says, fake it till you make it, just do the best you can, and they're not going to know the difference most likely. So yeah, that's something you can keep in mind as well to keep it a bit, lighthearted and
Go with the
um,
flow, see what comes to your mind when you. And I found that, I think a lot of times when we panic and get into that sort of agitated, nervous state, um, a lot of thoughts will flood our minds. And when we are able to calm ourselves down and allow for the messages to come through, remembering that is going to really help during these readings, because I know I get very nervous in public situations. So I have to remind myself to just take a moment to breathe and clear my mind from all those thoughts cluttering up the reading. So I think that'll help too, is taking a breather, a break when you feel that happening as well.
yeah, another thing you can do too, if you're doing a reading, you can start asking the person what comes to their mind when you flipped over that card. That way you're kind of encouraging them to use their own intuition a little bit, put their own perspective on the card. And that can help too if you're, again, new to tarot and you don't have, a full grasp on the card meanings yet. You can kind of use where their intuition led them as help with interpreting that particular card. And even more fun, I say flip the script sometimes. After you do a reading for someone, ask them to do a reading for you if they're comfortable. Even if they, obviously have no knowledge of tarot, it can be really insightful seeing what people come up with in terms of what they think the cards might represent. And those, comments might even like trigger some thoughts or some connections that you hadn't even thought of before about the cards and their meanings. So I always like to encourage, newbies or people who've never even picked up a tarot deck to like try a reading, see what comes to mind. What do you think these cards are saying? And it can be really funny to see how those turn out sometimes.
Yeah, I think it helps too to tell the person you're giving a reading for, especially if it's you're being hired for doing tarot readings at a party versus like everybody, is to let them know that this is very conversational. Like, we are having this conversation back and forth so that you are getting those validating answers and responses, because otherwise they might just sit there and not say anything, and you're like, is any of this clicking, is any of this making
Yeah.
sense? Remember to even ask those questions. Am I making sense? Do you understand this? Just so you could get a little bit of a reaction from them, and you're not just staring at a blank wall. We do have a quick question from Lila. Thank you. How do you choose the right tarot deck? That is such a great question. I know that when someone at the office, my office, actually asked me to do tarot readings on a Halloween party, but I only had a couple of decks, and there was a deck that was very dark imagery, which I loved. It was actually the Wild Unknown deck. It has very dark imagery, and I specifically didn't want to use it. I was nervous to use that deck because a lot of the cards that you pick would be very jarring. So maybe if it's a lighthearted party, if it is Halloween, maybe it's okay that it's very dark. Just use your best judgment of the crowd. Do a little bit of a kind of like an overview of the event, I would say. How about you, Scarlett?
Yeah, it can definitely depend, like you said, Jamie, on what the vibe you're going for, if, it is Halloween or there's some type of theme. Uh, Often I will just use a Rider-Waite-Smith deck or a Rider-Waite-Smith similar deck, like our deck, the Key Tarot, which is based on the Rider-Waite. And that's because there's a lot to look at on each individual image. Certain decks that I love, like the Wild Unknown, they're really beautiful, but there's not as much detail that you can kind of bring into the conversation as you're doing the reading. There's not as much storytelling that's initially available for everyone, not just you, but for the other people watching as well. Versus when you flip over a card and it's showing a person doing something, I find that I really like reading with those style decks, and it's easier for other people who might not be as familiar with tarot to kind of get what the card is representing, because
Right.
it is so visual and there's a lot to kind of draw on there.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're presenting a card to somebody who's never talked or seen tarot before, and you present them a card and it's just like an animal with a symbol, they might not understand it all or connect to it, versus a person doing something is like, oh, well, I know what that is and I know exactly what that means right away. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, so any other tips for being a tarot reader, like maybe like charging money? Do you guys have questions about if you're a tarot reader professionally, feel free to ask. But I would think it'd be interesting to know, like, how much do you charge, and um, all that goes into it with that, like when you're getting hired for an actual party.
Mhm. Yeah, I've done both kind of paid party tarot services and unpaid before. And I actually prefer, if I'm going to a party now, to like not charge and just make that decision. Usually I don't do readings for friends, just as kind of a general rule. But if it's like a tarot themed party I'm hosting, then yeah, I'll do readings for free for everyone because I just don't want to like worry about that. It's kind of awkward. But if it's a more like formal party where maybe like you're being hired specifically to do readings for this group of people and maybe you don't know them as well, then yeah, I would probably charge for that because it's not going to be as, fun, as a party that you might be hosting. And you probably should get some compensation from that. So it really depends on what you're comfortable with. When I'm having a party, I like to just pick out the deck every once in a while and just, do a couple cards for fun for people if they're into it. But, in general, for bigger events, I would definitely charge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. I think the next thing we were going to touch on is actually just
Mhm.
hosting a party for fun. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I think it's really, I love themed parties. That's like my thing. Like, I've had Harry Potter themed parties, I've had, Wizard of Oz themed parties. So a tarot themed party sounds so
Mhm.
fun, and it's a great way to incorporate tarot without necessarily having to do readings if you don't want to do readings at the party. But there are other ways of incorporating just tarot in general into a party so that other people can get interested in the topic too. Did you have any starter tips on that one?
Yeah, I love themed parties as well. And there's a lot you can do. I noticed you're actually drinking prophecy
Yes.
wine, right? And this is a fairly inexpensive wine company that has tarot themed wines.
This one is
So,
the Wheel of Fortune, actually, which we are going to play a little bit of in our drinking game later.
yeah, so that company actually has like a lot of different cards represented and like, they have whites, reds, and, rosés. So getting some type of tarot themed beverage. Of course, you can also make your own cocktails. You can make up your own cocktails depending on what you already have if you don't want to go out and like buy a bunch of cocktail ingredients. So you can make like mezcal, for example, is really like smoky tasting. So you can make like a mezcal margarita and like tie it to like the tower or the devil card, So you can make cocktails based on certain cards. If you have maybe a more flowery drink, maybe you title it the Empress. So maybe you can make like three signature tarot themed drinks and have them all prepped ahead of time. And people could, serve themselves if you make it in the pitcher or something like that. So that could be really fun. You could even put the image of the card right there, kind of showing, the name of each of the drinks. So that's a fun thing you can do. And of course, you can do something similar with like food and snacks, coming up with little treats that are reminiscent of some of the qualities of the cards. And you can take it as far as you want. Obviously, you don't have to do this, but if you're really into theming, you could go pretty far here.
The first thing I thought of was not everyone's a black licorice fan, but they have those little like Scotty dogs. Or if they have
Mhm,
another dog shaped thing, that would be fun to do for like
mhm,
the fool's dog or something like that. If you guys have
mhm.
other ideas, feel free to pop those in the comments. It would be fun to share all of our tarot themed party ideas.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, and I think it's fun that tarot, I feel like over the past few years has become better known among the general populace. I don't know about you, but I feel like it'd be less weird hosting a tarot party now than it would have been like 5 to 10 years ago. Like I feel like more people would be like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Tell me more." And that, people are opening their minds a bit when it comes to tarot and would be into that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of things are getting more popular. Meditation and astrology and
mhm.
all this stuff's starting to seep into the mainstream. So it's very interesting. Next will be tarot, I hope.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
And
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining us, guys. We have a message from Michelle. Play Hangman with the tarot card names. That's awesome. Love that idea. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mhm. Yeah, and we do actually have some drinking games that Jamie prepared, and this is really fun. So if you are into drinking games, you can get the PDF of these tarot-themed drinking games if you sign up for our newsletter on or our mailing list on our website. So we do have that link down below if you do want the free PDFs, if you're interested in trying these out.
And
Do you want to tell us a bit about some of these games?
yeah, there's four different games on here, so there's four different ways to play. And of course, if you're not a drinker, you don't have to use alcohol. You can just grab your favorite non-alcoholic beverage as well. Especially, a lot of tarot readers may or may not be drinking, so that is totally cool. We have four games named after the major arcana. So we have the Wheel of Fortune game, and that's a lot like you kind of like pull cards and you get what you are pulling. So if you pull a certain card, you are going to have to do a certain thing, and there's instructions on what you'll have to do. And there's the High Priestess, where you will be testing your intuition. the Magician's Rabbit game, where you're going to be testing your manifestation skills, and the Hoarding Hermit, where you are going to test your hoarding skills. No, I'm just kidding. You're going to test your hermit skills, which are involved with the home, actually. So that's one to play when you have a home that you're in. If you're like if you're in a hotel room or something that's very like stark and there's not a lot of stuff around, that might not be a great game. But if there's a lot of stuff around and you're feeling like a hermit, that might be a great game. I figured it might be kind of fun to show some of that as an example, like the two of us can actually try, or if you guys are on the chat, play along with us, so we can play a quick round of the Wheel of Fortune. I'll draw a card, and Scarlett will draw a card, and if you guys have your decks with you in the chat, feel free to say what cards you pulled, and we will let you know your fate.
So yeah, let's go over the rules real quick for the Wheel of Fortune game. So again, yeah, get a deck, and that way maybe you can play with us if you're interested. So the rules here is everyone takes turns drawing a card. Depending on the type of card you draw, you're going to be assigned to a specific task. So if you get a Wands card, you need to stand up, and then the last person to stand takes a drink. If you get a Cups card, then it's kind of like a cheers, and you go around the circle and name one thing that makes you happy, and then you take a sip, a very positive one. If you get a Swords card, pick a word that has at least one rhyme. Each player must say a word that rhymes. If the player cannot rhyme, then you take a sip.
Using your mental strategy with the Swords cards there.
Right, I'm a little worried about that one. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. If you pick a Pentacles card, this one's about giving to the poor. So who has been drinking the least in your group? Give them a drink. So if it's you, that means you take a sip. If you haven't been drinking much, or the person in the circle who hasn't been drinking has to take the sip. And then if you get a Major Arcana card, you get to make a rule for the game. So you get to add on a rule. So for example, if an ace shows up, maybe you have to like make an A with your hands or something like that. And the last person to do that would take a drink. So
yeah, this is kind of like if you've ever played King's Cup, or there's other names for it too. It's like, you know, there's like rules and you have to follow those. So yeah, I see we have some people joining in. You guys have your decks with you. That's awesome. Do one of us want to start, or yeah, let's have us start, and then we'll go over. We've got Lila, we've got Michelle. That's awesome. Yeah, let's go around real quick. We'll each pick a card. It could be fun.
Oh, I should say it gets kind of tricky because for the people in the chat, like we're not going to be able to see them.
So, no, you have to tell us what they are.
Yeah, so you'll have to tell us what the card is. So yeah, and then we'll try it out. So Jamie, do you want to pull a card first?
Yes. Let's go. And you guys can download this game. We send it to you by email, so feel free to sign up for that email list so that we can send that over to you, and you guys will have all these games to play. Alright, let's see what I get. Ooh, I got 3 of Pentacles, and I'm pretty sure you've been drinking the least, so that's on you.
So I'll have another. Yeah. Awesome. So that's an easy one. Let's see what I get here. So I'll shuffle my deck, and what do we get? Pentacles. I got a Pentacles card too. So again, I've probably been drinking the least, but if you watching have not been drinking, then really you should be taking this
honor system. All right, Lila and Michelle out there, I see you guys got your decks with you. You guys want to pick a card, let us know what you got. Lila got a Cups card. I think that's what that means, Cups card. So that would be name one thing that makes you happy and take a sip.
Hmm.
I would say dogs make me very happy. I have a dog and I love her. So, cheers.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, on that vein, cheers to my two cats that also, bring me so much joy.
That
So, what do you
sounded
guys?
that didn't sound too convincing.
Well, they
Okay.
also cause a lot of chaos.
Right, Graves got a three of pentacles. Graves, you get to choose one of us to drink.
Yes, so
And
pick one of
Michelle
us.
got four of wands.
So that's like we have to stand up, right? So, that's a little harder to do,
That one's
like,
hard to do on the YouTube.
right. Hmm. And then, so well, wands are going to be a bit tricky to do, but yeah, I guess like whoever puts their hands up first of us will win because if I stand up, I'm going to like knock over my entire streaming setup here.
Graves is giving you
Okay.
a drink.
Okay. I'll have another drink.
Awesome.
Oh, and Lila's telling us back to the cups card that she's grateful for her dog. So wonderful. So let's see. So we
Michelle's already
have,
standing. Michelle, you win.
let's see. Okay, so we have Lila, Graves, and Michelle, I think, playing along with us. So let's do another round here. So I think you start.
Alright. The wands are a little hard on this YouTube game, but or YouTube version, but
Mhm.
maybe we'll raise the roof. Okay, let's see. Second round here, real quick. We got wands. Woo!
Okay, let's see. I'll pull a card here. Oh, three of cups. So another cups card. So take a drink and tell us what you're grateful for. So I'm grateful for the really nice weather we had today. Took a nice walk.
Um,
Let's see. What about you, Jamie?
I am grateful for friends and family.
So for you guys that are playing along with us in
All
the
right,
chat,
yeah, if you're still
type
there.
what you're grateful for. And then I
Lila
think,
got another cups, right?
okay, so we got to say another thing we're grateful for.
And Graves
So
said my
two things.
books.
Let's see. I'm also grateful for my family. I'm heading out tomorrow on a trip to see some extended family I haven't seen for over a year. So I'm grateful for that. What about you?
Oh, I have to
You
pick
got to do
another
one
thing.
more.
um, delicious food and wine. Grateful. It
Hmm.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Mm.
guys pick your cards too. We've got.
Oh, another pentacles. So that would be the person who has drank the least yet. So if you feel like you haven't been drinking as much as we have, then it's on you. You got to take a sip there.
I'm pointing my fingers at you guys. Um,
Let's
Michelle's
see.
grateful for coffee and rain. I
Oh.
love that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
family, pagan community, hats. You're grateful
Mhm.
for hats. Grace picked a hierophant. So
So that means you
normally,
get to make a rule,
normally
right?
you would be making your own rule, which actually is perfect for the hierophant, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we aren't going to be playing more rounds where like the rule making would apply.
But, definitely download these games because this is just one of them. And I do think these would be so fun in a group of like maybe like
Like at
four,
least four or five, yeah.
like all sitting in a circle. I think that could be really fun. Should
Yeah,
maybe we should it might be fun to do the test the intuition game with our audience.
yeah. We could
High
play a
priest.
quick round of the High Priestess. We got Michelle saying the Chariot. Yeah, so the Chariot would be Major Arcana, and you would pick a rule to play on the next round. However, we are not going to be playing another round today, unfortunately. Maybe we can have another party another day to do some more of this.
Mhm.
Kayla said family and health. She's grateful for. Graves likes a good hat. Yeah, I like a
You
good
want to be
dress. I like a good dress. I understand.
If you want to be like extra with it too, if you do draw like a major arcana card at a party, you could match the rule you make to the card that you pulled. So like if you got the chariot, the rule is you have to like do 5 jumping jacks, something very energetic, or like
You have to
run
go
around the
run
room,
back and forth to the,
run back and
yeah.
forth. Um, so that could be something you do too. Or if you have the Hierophant, like you do the little cross or something, because he's like the
He's,
Pope in the
yeah.
tarot deck. The last person to do that would have to drink. So you can have a lot of fun with making up the rules. But yeah, let's shift gears. Let's try one more game. Let's do maybe the High Priestess one if you want to read the rules.
Sure, the High Priestess is testing your intuition. Use it or lose it. Each player takes a turn being the High Priestess by correctly guessing the card. If the player cannot guess, they must take a drink, sip, or shot. So this kind of looks a lot like Heads Up, or if you ever play that Heads Up game on your phone where you hold it to your forehead, and other players give you. So it says player selects the card without looking at it, holds it up on their forehead for the other people to see, and you would then give clues to help the person guess it correctly. So,
Mhm.
all right, so let's try that out. And you guys in the chat, feel free to give clues that are not saying any of the words that are on the card. No numbers, no names, and nothing. Any clues?
Let's see. So are you going to draw a card and then put it on your forehead, and I'm going to give you clues?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Okay, then I can't look at the screen, so you have to let me know if you can see it.
Oh, it's upside down.
Of
Yes.
course. Can you see it
Okay.
okay?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Let's see. So giving clues. Someone is lying down.
Ten of Pentacles.
Nope. You guys put your clues in the comments too, and I'll read them out. Let's see. The suit involves something sharp.
Okay, so, oh, it's not Ten of Swords.
Closer, but not quite.
I meant to say Ten of Swords. Oh, Four of Swords.
Yep, you got it.
Woo!
Yeah. You got it in like, what was that, like 2 clues? That was really impressive.
Awesome, so you
So let
guys
me,
can, not having a good day was the other clue.
yeah.
Alright, we'll try,
Okay.
Scarlett's gonna
So
get
I
a,
will pull a card, and again, I'm not going to be able to look there, so I'm going to have to look over.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Can you see it?
Ooh, okay.
Is it upside down?
We're going outside to howl,
Ooh, the devil?
and we are animals in our dreams at night.
Ooh, the moon.
Yes.
Okay. Yep, I got it.
Grace said mysterious. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it more difficult.
I know. So, I mean, like, I think, like, that means that we're just really good at it. I don't know.
Yeah. With all these Tarot Tuesdays we've been doing, we've been upping our skills lately.
Yeah, so that's 2 examples of 2 of the 4 games that we've included on the drinking games list. So hopefully those will be fun to add on to your parties this summer. I know I'm going to try some maybe this week.
Yeah, you're in a cabin right now. So
I am. I'm in a cabin in Michigan.
yeah, so you can have some fun. Well, let's see. So yeah, definitely we highly recommend downloading that PDF that Jamie made for you all with the drinking games and try them out. Let us know. Come back in the comments later and tell us how the game went if you do choose to play one. And we do have a few minutes left. If you have any like questions for us, now's a really good time to put it in the chat and we can answer any last questions we have for you all. And yeah, this has been kind of a fun topic that I've never seen really anyone else cover in the tarot YouTube space. No one really talks about parties, I guess, and tarot parties.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix because I was actually a little bit worried because a lot of spiritual people kind of try to disconnect from doing a lot of things in public, or have a sort of a wall with alcohol, or like involving people that might bring your energy down or drain you. So those are all different challenges one can face in these public settings. So definitely, the more you practice and prepare for those obstacles or challenges, the better you will get with those. We have a quick question here. When you're done with readings, do you put the cards away still shuffled, or do you reset it? And I know other people have asked about other people touching your tarot cards too. So if you're in a public setting, some people are very picky and they don't want other people to touch their tarot decks. How do you guys feel? Do you feel okay with it? I personally am okay with people handling my tarot deck. I don't mind at all. If you feel a little bit worried about it, you can always cleanse it afterwards. I'm kind of I'm a little bit more of a go with the flow, not super organized or picky about those things. So I just kind of let it go, and I'll do some quick cleansing after readings.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the flow too. I just, leave them shuffled. I, you know, don't really cleanse even if I'm at a party. I probably won't cleanse the deck in between readings because that would just take a long time, but I might cleanse it after the night is over or like the next morning. um, so, so yeah, it's up to you and what you like to do with your deck. I'm okay with people touching my cards, but I also keep an eye on them because I'm always paranoid about losing one, or one kind of, is falls under the couch and then your deck is kind of ruined at that point.
That's tough. And I know we talked about offering, if you guys lose a card from our deck, the Key Tarot, we may actually offer some in the future where you can, pay for an individual card if you lose it. So that might be something I think would be beneficial for tarot deck creators to offer their readers, because that happens and that's devastating. You don't want to buy a whole new deck. So that could be interesting. And there's another question from Lila. Thank you. Can you do tarot readings for animals or familiars? Yes, definitely. I've actually worked with somebody who is in the animal behavior field, and she does tarot readings with her animals all the time, and it's a really fun way to connect with them, and they're very in tune with all of the spiritual realm and all these other realms that you're accessing. So it's a lot of fun to work with them, and it'll help you communicate with them better too, I think. So definitely.
Yeah, and if you are interested in learning more about familiars, that was my topic for last week's Pagan Happy Hour on my main channel. So I go into the history of familiars, how to get a familiar if you want one, how to work with a familiar. So it's something I've been more interested in lately. And yeah, I totally agree that it can be really fun to do readings for your familiar or just your animals. um,
Yeah, and
let's
Kate
see.
says, I'm very particular about my deck. I always place a barrier between the surface I'm working on and the cards. I won't even let my partner touch them, and they respect that and completely understand. That's awesome. Everyone has their own rules around their tools, especially if there's something you're really deeply connecting to. That's
Mhm,
beautiful, yes. Lila says,
mhm.
yep, I agree, but I will mostly just cleanse them afterwards. Yes.
And maybe this, factors into your choice of deck to use for the party too. Maybe you don't pick your favorite deck. Maybe you pick a deck that already is a bit bent in some corners and you're not too worried
Maybe you have a
about
party deck.
a party deck, that might have seen better days, and that's the one you bring
Get
to
a
the
used
party.
one or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm,
so yeah, thank you guys so much for all your questions and comments.
mhm,
It's really awesome to connect with you guys. It makes all of these so much better and so much more fun when you guys are
mhm,
hopping on and talking with us. So thank you
mhm.
so much. I love the idea of a party deck. Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I am kind of blanking on the next week's topic, but I'm pretty sure it's boosting your confidence in
Mhm.
being a professional reader. And we talked a little bit about it today about boosting your confidence in public settings. I think we're going to dive in deeper even on like techniques and skills and all of that good stuff. So if you bring your questions or bring your tips for other beginners too, and leave them in the chat as well.
Yep. And, if you are new here, we are doing Tarot Tuesday every Tuesday at 5 Central right here on this YouTube channel. And of course, this is a brand new channel. We just started it. So if you do want to help us out, feel free to subscribe or give this video a like. That'll definitely help us start to grow a bit. It is kind of crazy starting from scratch, but it's fun too, you know?
It's fun because it's also like a little more intimate and we get to talk to you guys more, so it feels a little bit
Mhm.
like a smaller group.
Yeah, yeah, definitely compared to my pagan happy hour where sometimes I can't, read the comments, or address each
Right.
comment. It moves too fast. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been really fun and hopefully, we'll see you next week.
All right, have a great day and see you next week definitely.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
bye.